essay here. I'm going to take your phone calls on this. But the phone calls I want to take, I'd like to hear from women who have worked for women in the marketplace. Because I've got a piece here from the Wall Street Journal that indicates that's where the real war on women is. Now, you can use your first name, and if you're going to talk about somebody, I don't want any names, especially full names. I don't want any names at all. But this article is basically saying, look, it is brutal for women in the marketplace to have a female boss, that these female bosses are mean to them, they're spiteful, they're jealous, they don't serve as mentors, they try to squash them and keep them down, they exclude them, that it's a miserable experience for a woman to work for a female boss, where they say when guys are mean, they're mean to everybody. But the female bosses, they're harder on their female subordinates than the male bosses are. And so if that's been your experience, if you can testify to that that's where the real war on women is in the marketplace, in the workplace, the real war on women is women supervisors with authority who are bosses are mean to female subordinates. So if you've got an observation, you've got a comment on that, we'd like to hear from you when we open up the phones here in a few minutes. Now, before we get to that, I just want to finish up on that Obamacare thing, that the impact on pets. Again, remember this medical device tax, if it's any kind of medical device that's manufactured and can be used either to care for humans or to care for pets, even though you're buying it just for veterinary care, you got to pay that tax on it, even though that instrument's never going to be used to care for a single living human being. There's a woman named Carol Smock. She founded a charity that helps struggling pet owners pay for vet care. It's called the Brown Dog Foundation. She had a chocolate lab. She had some veterinary bills. They were pretty steep, and so she formed this charity to help people that were in the same situation that she was in. It has a pet they love. They want to take it to the vet. They want it to get cared for, and it's expensive. And so she's concerned it's going to raise the cost of veterinary care, and it's going to have an impact on the very people that she's trying to help. So once again, it's like we've seen socialism, like the kind that Barack Obama practices. It hurts the little guy. The people that are going to, part of the number of the people that are going to feel the pain of Obamacare are poor people with pets. So the little guy is getting drilled again by Barack Obama and his socialism. Now, I'm looking at a picture here, and I don't know, Jeff, did we get this up on the Facebook page, that picture of the Obamacare regulations? Yeah, why don't you stick that up there? Jeff sent me a JPEG today of a picture of all of the Obamacare regulations that have been published through the end of this week. It's a stack. This is regulations. This is not the law. This is not Obamacare. This is not the law. These are the regulations. It is a tower, over 20,000 pages, 20,000 pages of regulations, not the law. The law is like 2,700 pages, something like that. The regulations, these are just the ones that have been issued so far, 20,000 pages. It's a tower. It's a stack that is 7 feet 3 inches in height. Now, here's another thing people have no idea is coming down the pike. This is just applying for Obamacare. This is an Associated Press story, and I'm going to read some excerpts from it. Then I want to get into that essay about female bosses, Queen Bee syndrome. But listen to this. And see, the American people don't have a clue this is coming. I told you yesterday about the guy that has the Five Guys hamburger joint franchise in D.C. He's got 8 restaurants. He says, look, Obamacare is going to cost me $60,000 a year. That means there are people that I can't hire. There are wages I can't raise. I was going to open 3 new restaurants. That's gone. I can't do that, can't afford to do that because of Obama. So Obama is hurting the little guy. I mean, who works at Five Guys hamburger? It's the little guy getting started. They're getting hammered. They're getting hosed. That's why I despise Obamacare. I despise it. Why? Because it hurts people that I care about. It hurts the little guy that's just trying to get started, trying to find that starter job. Can't do it now because here's 3 hamburger franchises that aren't going to open up. It hurts the little guy, and that's why I hate it. Socialism hurts the little guy, and that's why I hate it. Anyway, here's the Associated Press article. Applying for benefits under President Barack Obama's health care overhaul could be as daunting as doing your taxes. Listen to this. The government's draft application is 15 pages long. The online version has 21 steps, some of them with additional questions. Let's see, the idea that getting health insurance could be as easy as shopping online at Amazon, forget about it. You can forget about it, even though the Obama administration, hey, it's going to be like shopping at Amazon. It's not. 15 pages, 21 different steps. Some of those steps have additional questions to them, and AP says that is just the first part of the process. All that is designed to do is to let you know if you qualify for financial help. That's just to see if you're eligible for subsidies. The government asks to see what you're making because Obama's Affordable Care Act is mean-tested. Lower income people get more generous help to pay premiums. Then once you're finished with the money part, actually picking a health plan will require additional steps plus a basic understanding of insurance jargon. And it's a mandate, the AP says, not a suggestion. Some are concerned that a lot of uninsured people will be overwhelmed and simply give up. This lengthy draft application will take a considerable amount of time to fill out and will be difficult for many people to be able to complete, said Ron Pollock, executive director of Families USA, an advocacy group supporting the health care law. This guy's in favor of it. And he says, look, this is going to overwhelm people, poor people. Maybe they've got limited language skills. They're not even going to be able to fill this thing out. It's going to overwhelm them. They won't even get started. And this whole thing is for them. It's for low-income people to get them some help. When you combine these two processes, it's enormously time-consuming and complex. And he's calling for an army of counselors to help uninsured people navigate the new system. AP says it's unclear who would pay for these navigators. Well, that's a stupid statement. You and I both know who's going to pay for this army of counselors. You and me are going to pay for this. Drafts of the paper application and a 60-page description of the online version were posted online by the Health and Human Services Department. Quietly, no fanfare, didn't want anybody to know about this because they know that this is lethal to the whole deal. The government estimates its online application will take a half hour to complete. The paper application take an average of 45 minutes. Good luck with that. 15 pages, 21 steps, and they think it's going to take a half an hour? Forget about it. And the Department of Health and Human Services estimates it'll receive more than 4.3 million applications. Who's going to process all that? You need an army of counselors to help people fill this out. Then you got to have an army of new bureaucrats toiling away in cubicles to process 4.3 million applications. And these applications are going to be reviewed by 3 federal agencies, including the IRS. Now, here is another problem. So you're going to be applying for help based on your expected income in 2014, but the latest tax return that the IRS is going to have is for 2012. So you're running 2 years behind. So if you got a better paying job, that's going to screw things up. If you got laid off, that's going to totally cob you up because the IRS says you made X number of dollars in 2012. If you just got laid off, you're getting no money income, but that's not going to be reflected in the IRS information. If your spouse went back to work, you're going to have to provide all this additional documentation. And then if somebody in your household was offered health insurance on the job but didn't take it, you're going to have to answer some additional questions, including a question like this. Here's the question that's on the form. What's the name of the lowest cost self-only health plan the employee listed above could enroll in at this job? I mean, you got to decipher the question first. What's the name of the lowest cost self-only? What is a self-only health plan? I mean, who knows what that even means? The employee listed above could enroll in at this job. So that is Obamacare. And ladies and gentlemen, the American people don't have any idea this is even coming down the pike. They don't even know it's going to hit them right between the eyes. Now, here is the war on women question. And I realize there's a hazard in even opening up the phone lines for this. I just want to hear from women, by the way. I don't want to hear from men. Well, maybe we could take a call from men. That's going to sound chauvinistic, so maybe not. Maybe not. But I'd like to hear from women that have actually had experience in the marketplace. 888-589-8840. I'm going to have to finish this column after the break, but I'll get started here. It's by Peggy Drexler. It's on the Wall Street Journal. The title of the piece is The Tyranny of the Queen Bee. She starts by talking about a woman named Kelly. She's bright. She's in her 30s, whip smart, well-qualified, ambitious, and confused, and even a little frightened because she worked for a female boss. In meetings, her boss would dismiss her ideas without discussion, even cut her off in mid-sentence. Kelly started to hear about meetings to which she wasn't invited but felt she should be. She was excluded from her boss's small circle of confidants. And the writer says she might have met a queen bee. Having spent decades working in psychology, a field heavily populated by highly competitive women, I had certainly seen the queen bee before. The female boss, who not only has zero interest in fostering the careers of women who aim to follow in her footsteps, but who might even actively attempt to cut them off at the pass or the knees or the ankles. So this woman she's talking about just wanted a mentor. She thought, well, it's great. I'll have a female boss. She will mentor me. She will tutor me. She will bring me along. And instead, she found herself completely cut off at the ankles because her female supervisor was threatened by her looks and her ability. Focal Point AFR Talk. Be back right after the break. Stay with us.